All right, welcome to Command Stack. I'm Ryan.
I'm
I'm
Garrett.
and I'm Ken.
All right, welcome to our mini pod. Um, we're going to start doing a series of mini pods. They're going to be shorter than what we normally do. It's been tough to get everyone together, all four of us, to kind of do a big pod and to cover some of the bigger tournaments. So we're hoping, and the idea behind just mini pods is to be a little bit more nimble, showcase some smaller tournaments. We have a ton of store championships coming up, and those are really exciting. And this is kind of our way of trying to hit a lot of the store championships. So it's really just going to kind of be whenever we got time, who can hop on. It might just be me, although Garrett has discouraged me from trying to go solo because no one wants to listen to me by myself.
I offered to participate.
You were like, I don't think that's a good idea, and you're probably right.
It's easier to bounce off people. It's easier.
Yeah, it definitely is. I prefer to have some co-hosts as well. So just today it's the three of us, and so as a result, we're just going to cover three lists, and just kind of show what they're all about. If there's two of us, we might just cover two lists just to try to save time, but to generally talk about the tournament and try to show the different metas that are out there and different communities. So today we are doing a mini pod about the Indy Open, which happened back at the end of July. And Garrett, you can tell us how many players and how many people were.
Yeah, so I think they planned for 16. 13 came for the day, which meant one player had to buy. Quick stats breakdown. And this is ran by the good guy Chivalry Henry, if you know him on Discord. Chivalry is a good player out of Indianapolis. So good spread: 3 Empire, 2 CIS, 4 Rebel, and 4 Gar. As far as Admiral, 4 Gar. Yeah, as far as Admiral breakdown go, 2 Ramatis, 1 Sloan. Both the CIS were TF 1726, which I was surprised. I'm always surprised. I don't know why I'm surprised I see that, but I just am.
That's just the meta, man. That's just the Indy metas. TF.
Yes. And then the Gar had Bail Organa, Anakin, Luminar, and Plo Koon. And then the Rebels were Radis, Gar Iblis, Akbar, and Agate. So talk about some great diversity. Fun facts: no onagers. No onagers at the tournament. At the Ramadi list was the one we'll talk about, and then the other Ramadi list was Architans. And then there was 1 Starhawk that had Agate on it. And there was 2 Empire lists with Victory Star Destroyer. So I think it's cool, like these store championships, you're going to see completely different lists as far as like how they're put together than, these constantly like huge world qualifiers. But what's cool is the winner here got a world's ticket. So they're going to get to take it. They don't? They didn't have a kit?
No, they didn't. They didn't get the kit. So that is the one caveat. They didn't get a world's.
I thought they were going to backdate them the kit. I guess I was wrong. Okay.
Yeah, Henry told me that they weren't able to get one for this, so that's too bad. But
gigantic bummer. Well, they'll have another opportunity. Those kits are coming in now. So
yeah, they'll be an Indy Fall Open or Winter Open or something.
Yeah. And I guess one last thing: top 4 winner was Empire, then it was CIS, Rebel, and then Gar. So all 4 factions got to be in the top 4, which is pretty good. But anyways, yeah, Ryan, take it away.
All right, so we're one other thing before I get too far into this. I have a map going. Please share it. It's a map of all store championships and world's qualifiers that I have heard about, but I can't cover. I don't see everything. I just added all the UK store championships. So if you want to go to London, I just went to London. Direct flight from Cincinnati to London. It's very easy. If you want to go steal one of the British store championships, you can do it that way. Cincinnati's not too far from you, Garrett, but
just the price of the ticket. Yeah.
The price. Yeah. That's the only problem. So check it out, share it. And if you are running a store championship, please add your information. It's just editable. I've done all it myself largely, except for the Black Admiral has helped me with the Polish store championship. So please check that out.
Where do we find it?
You can find it it's pinned to the Armada Hub Discord general channel. And I think we've posted it, or Ken has posted it for me on Facebook maybe. So just it's there. I think it's neat, and you can kind of see what's won so far too. I have all that kind of in one spot, so I hope you
Awesome.
use it. But anyway, so let's cover the top three lists here. And so I think Garrett, I think you had your eye on this third place list.
Yeah, the Raddus Rebels. I'll go. Yeah, okay, we'll start there. I just like this list because it's got the MC80, the pickle version. Let me bring it back up here.
And this is
Yes.
Tom, I think.
Yeah, Tom W. So I think Tom B won second. Also funny, two Toms in the top four. So yeah, so it's a two capital ship Raddus drop. So he's got an MC-75 Ordnance Cruiser with Raddus, Ordnance Experts, external racks, and profundity. And then he's got a Hammerhead torpedo corvette, totally naked. And then he's got a bomber command center on his GR-75, and then he's got an MC-80 command cruiser, which is, I think, awesome to Raddus drop this thing. It's got a flight commander, rapid launch bays, ECMs, HIEs, quad battery turrets, and Defiance. And then he's putting 4 B-wings into the rapid launch bays, which is awesome, right? Because in the world of Pittix, B-wings got 2 die. He's got a bomber command center. I think this thing is awesome. Because drops this thing, drops the B-wings, he fires, and then the B-wings go, because he's got flight commander. This thing's awesome. We don't have the objectives, unfortunately, but yeah, what do you guys think? Thoughts, opinions? Pickle time.
Profundity, really, I'm looking at the list right now. There's not a lot on it. I mean, ordnance experts, external racks, and you got to get in close to use it. It is an ordnance cruiser.
Yep.
So you kind of want to double arc. Well, you want to double arc everything, but you're really only going to hit hard once in a game. So you want to get close up, bring in the MC-80 to drop it, and the B-wings, and I think that Hammerhead's just there to kind of help even out the score, or in this case, 36 points floating around. But then Bomber Command and your B-wings. I mean, I think you got a powerful combo, but man, you can take down that MC-75 pretty quick if you're not careful.
Yeah, you got to fly real fast.
No defensive retrofit, right? No officer Lando or anything like that. So it could, I mean, an Onager could, like a Sloaniger type thing, where it's like an Onager shot, and then here's Merrick Gendon could table it before you could drop potentially. But I think that Hammerhead is there for that little trick you can do with Raddus off of profundity to move Raddus to that Hammerhead to get the extra long drop on the MC-80. Yes. So you can do the distance one, move Raddus, where you detach him from the cruiser, he shuttles over to the Hammerhead, and then you drop the set 80 pretty much like across the board. And just incredible range, incredible threat. I mean, like an Onager threat range, really. And the MC-80 doesn't have I guess it has the bombers, but it's got blue and red dice,
right.
So it's even got greater threat range than even like a normal, like if you had flipped the Ordnance Cruiser, with black dice.
Yeah, everybody brings the Liberty, and so I just love to see the home one type coming in. But I think it's great. I think the B-wings on the rapid launch bay is my favorite part. I love when people do that on a Raddus, because it's just like a Russian, like, what is that, stacking doll or whatever it's called?
The nesting doll.
Yeah, nesting doll. Yeah.
I mean, those B-wings, you're talking 8 damage. You're with Bomber Command Center there. It's an average of 8 damage. I don't know the math, but check me on it if you want to. But that seems about right.
You're blue black, right? So that's 1.75 damage per shot on average. When you re-roll one of those, you figure you're probably going to re-roll the blue to get a crit, or you're re-rolling a black just to get one of the hit crits as opposed to nothing. So I think if you throw your average, you're going to be closer to 2. But yeah, you theoretically can hit 3 damage here, including crits with each one of those bombers from B-wing. Do that times 4. I mean, that's potentially a lethal combination.
Yeah, especially combined. He's got HIEs too, right? So he's probably gonna get that off with all his blue dice. So it's 3 shields. And then he fires. Then he moves. Then he flight commanders the B wings out, and then they go. It's good. I like it.
Yeah, and if the ordnance cruiser can even get a follow-up shot,
Yep.
anything's dead at that point. Now that's tough because it's black dice, but it's got some good blue dice, with it too. But it's tough. It's a great combo if you can pull it off. Now its weaknesses, are heavy fighters because those things, but there's only B wings that'll die pretty quickly. But
Yep.
I don't think this list really cares too much. It gets in, gets out, drops them, and tries to run.
Yeah, and this is a great list to bring to this tournament because there's no onagers. So the Armada God smiled upon him. Anyways, congrats to Tom there for taking third.
Yeah. All right. So second is a CIS list. Ken, do you want me to take this one, or do you want to take this one?
I'm fine either way. Which one do you want to take?
I'll take this one.
Go ahead.
I'll just go ahead and do it. It's a 5 activation CIS list with a Recusant support destroyer with TF 1726, which we have not seen too often. It's got Tykes, Veterans Gunners, B2 Rocket Troopers to get your raid tokens, an interesting flag bridge with Jedi Hostage, which is a natural combination. TRCs, which is just for spiking damage, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then Patriots Fist, one of the best titles in the game. And then you have a Muni Comms frigate with Asajj, B2 Troopers, Link Turbo Lasers, and Son and Allure. Very, interesting little combination frigate there. A naked Gazanti cruiser, probably just for activation. And then hard sell of a veteran captain. And we don't see veteran captain too much, but it's when you reveal a command, you may discard the card to gain 1 command token of your choice for 3 points. Useful card. So you have B2 rocket troopers and quad battery turrets, and then an identical hard sell. This one comes in right at 400, probably fine going first or second with 5 activations and a nasty Patriots Fist there. So it's not too defensive, I'll say that. Like, I don't think they have any defensive tech on here. So it'll throw out a lot of damage with TF. And maybe the B2 rocket troopers kind of help a little bit with the LTTs on the comms frigate to throw some flak damage, and I guess you could even flak off of the TRC as well. But it's not great against fighters, but maybe it doesn't need to be. I don't know what you guys think.
Well, he's got that natural double die flak on the heart cells and the Mooney, or the Moon. I guess it's the comms frigate, so it's just got the red. But so it's okay. Like, they both got red flak, the Wreck and the Munificent. But I want to say he's brave for putting TF on the Recusant instead of the Munificent. In my opinion, I put it on the Mooney.
Well, I'm looking at this. The B2 rocket troopers are going to give you some extra, 1 extra die, I think, when shooting against squadrons, right?
Oh, yeah, I think so. You're right.
So you've got that going for a little bit of defense. You could double up with the LTTs on the Muni. So theoretically, you're throwing a red die. You're going to add potentially 3 dice in terms of trying to hit something hard with a squadron. So that's a potential killer. You've got Asajj, so it's kind of nice to see some of the rapid reinforcements 2 cards. Sonnalore is defensive title. So yeah, I can see your point here, Garrett, with wanting to put TF 1726 on the Munificent as opposed to the Recusant. And I think Jedi Hostage is an interesting choice, though. And I think that might be why TF is sitting there on the Recusant. Because if you're trying to, if I'm recalling correctly, and actually let me pull up the card just so I can remember reading it, but when you're declared as a non-salvo attack, if Jedi Hostage is ready, then they gain a raid token. So you're going to kind of force a negative situation when someone's attacking you with Jedi Hostage. And they really have to get in close to be able to avoid that. And you know, with Patriot Fist, you're hitting them pretty hard at range. So you might want, you're going to see them be brought closer, but then you're going to get hit with the B2 rocket troopers, which then leverages more of TF's capabilities. So if you want to really take out the command ship, which is worth 150 points, what is it, 146? So yeah, 150 points. You're in a position where you have to get in close and pretty much sacrifice the ship to try and take that one out.
Yep. No, it's a really fun, aggressive list. Not a lot of token objective play. This is just shoot and kill.
I mean, Asajj is there, and that's plenty.
I meant objective tokens.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
I think Asajj is perfect in a TF list, and you know, one of the problems with TF is that it's, you know, he's not just a, what is he, 26-point admiral? Yeah, he's really like a 60-point admiral, because you're putting B2 rockets on there, right? You're putting Jedi hostage on all your ships. So he's an expensive admiral with a great effect, right? Like if you're going up against another all-ship list, I really like this list against that, you know, because you're throwing a huge number of dice. So it's very matchup dependent. I do see the flak though can be, you know, you really only, in a lot of lists these days, you kind of only need a couple, you know, take one Skirg out or take Lando out or something, and you kind of, or Jendon out or Merrick, and then the oomph of the ball will kind of degrade. But let me ask you guys this: it's a 400-point list. Assuming you have bid, would you go first or second against this list?
Against this, I would take. Well, I'll extend to what are your objectives, but
yeah, you got the choice here.
I'd be totally okay taking second against this.
I'm going to agree. I think given the choice, I'd want to play second on this, forcing my objectives to get played, because my concern here would be, what are the second, if he gets second, what are his objectives?
Right. They're just going to compound the dice adding, right?
Right. That'd be my guess. And I don't know that I want to face that, because I think that would just hurt more. Either that, or it's going to be some farming objectives where he can kind of sit back and you've got to come to him. Take contested outpost as an example. He can sit right there on his station collecting his points. And again, you have to get right into it, which is exactly where you don't want to be. Right. Not to mention, again, with Patriot Fist, as Ryan says, best title in the game, you are going to have to combat that first. So I think going second, forcing my objectives to get played, is a better idea. And then you kind of get, again, with a 5-ship list, you know, usually I'm going to fly 7-8 deployments. So I might have a better idea where some of the stuff's going to be before I have to put my big important ships down. So I'm more inclined to say I'd want to go second. What about you?
That's a good point. Like you definitely, about the deployment advantage, you definitely will have a deployment advantage against them. So if it's not a good matchup, you can deploy away, or, you know, just take advantage of them there. You know, I would take first, because unless I'm running MSU, they probably out activate me. And then you're getting in a situation where Patriots Fist could last first you know, similar to Price or something. You know, like it's a nasty combination, and I wouldn't want 2 consecutive shots on me with that. So that's fair. That's dangerous. So I'd take first, but, you know, depending on your objectives. I just want to say it's cool to see Jedi Hostage. I'm not sure, you know, we rarely ever talk about that card, but it's one of the best designed cards, I think. Just the fluff, you know, the thematic of what the card says and what it does is really cool. Really, really great designed card.
I think TRCs go great on it too. Instead of LTTs, taking the TRCs, good idea.
Yep, definitely. All right, so let's go to the winner. And Ken, if you're going to cover this for Paul A, congratulations. Sure. Went 3-0.
So Paul A, again, congratulations from the whole team here at Command Stack. We're going to go through your list at 394 points. So we have General Ramadi is commanding, and Ramadi is on one of my favorite ships in the game, a Victory 2 Star Destroyer. On board is Minister Tua, veteran gunners, disposable capacitors, and you're always going to see disc caps on victories. Quad battery turrets, another great card for victories to get a little bit more, offensive firepower, some blue dice. The heavy ion emplacements, HIEs are there, so you could do some damage with those. Haro title, which is, I think that came out was that Rebellion in the Rim?
Mm-hmm.
So another card that's kind of helped bring victories back in the fold. Electronic countermeasures, courtesy of Tua, and engine techs, courtesy of Haro. So we're getting a lot of upgrades on this. 9 total upgrade cards, which includes Commander on the victory too. So 147 points. It's a lot, but it can do quite a bit too. Second ship is going to be a Gladiator 1 Star Destroyer with the Demolisher title. We've Iden Versio on it, Ordnance Experts, Engine Techs, and External Racks. 2 Gazanti class cruiser flotillas. The first one with just Hondo Onaka. The second one with Darth Vader and Comsnet. And then we're going to get into our squadrons. 2 big squadron pilots here, Merrick Steele and Colonel Jendon. We were talking about them earlier. For 41 points, one heck of a deadly combination. Do some double tapping with Merrick. We also have Gamma Squadron and Tempest Squadron, so some unique non-ace squadrons. And then we're going to get into our generics, where we have a TIE Advanced, a TIE Defender, and 2 TIE Fighter, your line fighter squadrons rolling up the completion here. So 108 points. That's a pretty big, a little bit more than medium, but we're getting close to a large squad ball there. 2 combat ships and 2 flotillas. But your combat ships, Demolisher's always a good way to go with Empire. And then you get your victory, which again, really equipped to do a lot of damage at range. I mean, you get in blue range, and with disc caps, you get that one shot. If you can get an HIE out at long range, I mean, that's going to hurt. Tack on engine techs, you got a somewhat more maneuverable victory too. What do you guys think about this list?
What do you think, Ryan? You want to go?
So I want to talk about the fighter ball. I find it really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
They only use 2 aces. Merrick Jendon, best 41-point squadron in the game. But then you see Gamma and Tempest, and then a TIE Advanced, which you almost never see, a TIE Defender, which you rarely see, and 2 TIE Fighters. And I'm thinking about this squad ball. It's 8 fighters, which is great. Great for deployment, great for, helping everything at 108 points. But what it does, and I have been trying to put together an Imperial fighter ball at 106 points. That's all the points I had in another list. And this is interesting because the problem with the Imperial fighter balls at 108, 106, somewhere, around there, is you're either all anti-squad or all like bombing. And it's hard to find a happy medium. This one does. And the problem is usually if you're not using Sloan, the problem is finding enough bombing. Because usually you're Jendon, Merrick, and Vader. And that alone is like 70 points or something. Or, 60, it's a lot. But here, because the TIE Advance does have a black dice, and the Tempest Squadron's bomber, Gamma Squadron's black dice bomber, and the TIE Defender is a bomber, you're looking at around 8 damage from this squad ball if they get into a ship, all at once, which is the same as those 4 B-Wings that we had just talked about previously. So you're looking at like eight bomber dice with Merrick, Jendon, and all that, which is really good, which is like you're kind of where you need to be to have a good bomber ball, I think, is to throw 8 damage a turn. And this does it. So I think it's a really interesting fighter ball.
I agree. Especially the escorts, right? So they're going to chew through 10 whole points of your escorts. And by the time you're done finishing off those 2 TIE Advance, the rest of this Imperial squad ball is going to take out whatever is dangerous on your side. Because those are really beefy, fast escorts. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right. The victory too, right? It's always that ship. It's because you can, not because you probably should all the time. It's so expensive, right? It's just a giant Christmas tree. 147 points with the Admiral in there. But like it does its job, right? It shoots off at long range with those decaps. It does the HIEs, and then preps it right for Gladiator or a finisher after Gladiator goes through it. Demolisher, I mean. Yeah, I bet this squad ball was actually probably what was pushing his fleet along in these games. This is a hard thing to deal with, especially if he knows, like, and I'm sure he does, like, how to place his squadrons, where they're going, the activation of which squadron going to go where. And these are fast. Like the defender, I mean, speed 4, because I've been flying a lot of Gar, and I forget how slow speed 3 is on a lot of the fighters. Like 4 and 5, like you're just flying across the map, especially with bombers. And then Jindin, double tap and Merrick. So yeah, I know it's just a great list. I mean, you could easily swap in an ISD2 here, I think, and get just about the same results. But
So Paul got a bye the first round,
mhm.
and then he played the Radis list that we just talked about the second round, and got a 9-2 there, and then he played another list and got a 10-1 on that. So a 9-2 and a 10-1. So not a bad day at the office.
Pretty good. Yeah, I bet the Demolisher and Spiders just consume that MC80.
Because there were no right. That's the problem with that Radis list, is there's no squadron defense.
Right.
And then the list he got 10-1 was just Shara Tycho.
Yeah. So it was just instant death. So many blue dice.
But that's that's the matchup, right? Like that you'll see it in a lot of these situations.
Well, and matchup tends to decide who's going to wind up winning. And it's really what it comes down to is, can you maybe eke out a 6-5 victory if you know your matchup is poor, or it's damage control? How small of a loss can you keep things to? One of the things you touched on with the fighter ball, Ryan, I'm kind of looking at this and I'm wondering if you just place these correctly, depending on how you want to attack your target. If you want your bombers more front and center, you can put Gamma, that TIE Defender, Merrick, to actually do your bombing strike, and then keep everything a little bit further out. And those 2 TIE fighters, yeah, they're not going to do much, but they pad you in such a way where you can keep your primary bombers at least range 1 away from any new fighters coming in. So something I hadn't thought about that based on what you're saying. I may have to try this ball out just for fun.
Yeah, I'm getting ready for a tournament coming up, and looking at, I have an SSD, and this might kind of inspires me a little bit, because I have 106 points to spend. So
yeah, your command prototype.
Yep, Torturers.
That's what I'm talking about.
I do want to say, like it's Paul got some. It seems like Paul got some good matchups, but you know what? I bet that victory too was into some dire straits versus that MC80. When it's dropping B wings, or it's definitely good flying by Paul to.
Yep.
It's not like the victory will be that great at dodging a blue red dice Radish ship. So good job on Paul to take advantage of that. And then Iden, I do want to say we'd be remiss if Iden's always a great defensive officer on Demolisher.
No, completely agree. Fun lists all in all for your top 3 for the Indy Open.
Yeah, so congratulations, Paul, on that. It's been, so this is just kind of what we're trying to do, showing off some smaller tournaments. I got my eye on a couple others that are coming up. But if you go down to Indy for a tournament coming up, you might be playing against some of these guys and some of these lists. So something to think about. So shout out to Henry for running the tournament and getting it all on T4 for us to take a look at. So, but I think we're about ready to sign off. Anything else to talk about?
Well, just real quick, do you guys have any store championships that you guys are going to? Ryan, you kind of alluded to one in the near future.
So we have a kit at Miso's in Louisville. They don't have someone to run it. So I volunteered. I was like, I'll run it. I barely know the rules. But I'll TO. I'm fine. I've run 90% online tournaments. Like I can TO. Like what? I'd rather TO and have a tournament than not have a tournament at all. Right. So
yeah. So we should have, Ryan and I are close to each other in Kentucky. We should have 4 on a circuit here. So one in Cincinnati at a store called Three Brothers. There'll be one in Lexington, or maybe two, possibly in Lexington, but at least one at a place called Chaotic Games and Coffee. We're waiting for our kit. And then Hard Knocks Games in E-Town, Elizabethtown, I think I want to say, is another one we'll have in the Miso. So
we'll have 4.
Yeah, at minimum. But it looks like these store kits are pretty easy to get once you order them. So, and now that I've seen actual real pictures of store kits, so I think Salt Lake Open had one confirmed
They look
real.
Cool. Like good artwork, like cool prizes, and
return of the big posters.
Store champs are just like one of the best things to bridge the gap between casual play and competitive play. And it's such a good thing for the game. I'm seeing, a lot of people at our local store or local Discord are looking to play, and it's getting a lot of people out there. So it's a really great thing that they finally brought them back.
Yeah, it makes the game feel alive, I guess, right? I mean, Armada's always had our issue. What is dead may never die, blah blah blah. But
what about you, Ken? Are you gonna have like a dozen store champs in Chicago, or
they just had one, right, Ken?
Wouldn't that be great? We had one not that long ago, where I think we only had 16 people show up, which is a little light for what we normally do. But middle of summer, people are on vacations, things like that, so not your normal group will appear. And I'm hearing that we may be having a store champ with one of these kits in the upcoming future. So I'm really paying attention to that because frankly, I would love to do it. I just think it'd be a lot of fun, especially when you have that SSD card up for grabs, because I think that's the first place, isn't that? It's the invite, and on the backside is the SSD.
I thought Leia was the,
or maybe it's
store
Leia.
champ one, and SSD is the world qualifier.
You might be
the 4-person kit, top 4 kit. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Once I get one in my hands, if I ever get one in my hands, I'll let everyone know.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to see what's coming up, and who knows, maybe if you guys have your tournament at the right time of year, on the right weekend, maybe I'll even go down, visit you guys, and join in. And I'll steal that one from you guys. Just
we got to meet in the middle of Indianapolis to take theirs.
You've seen my basement. I have a couch or a bed in my basement. So
you're willing to put me up for a night, huh?
Yeah, with cats, with cats
and dogs. So
I've got plenty of them here. They show up from time to time. In fact, I'm actually surprised your cat has shown up. Mine has not yet. So
yeah. All right, guys. So if anything else, or I think we'll go ahead and sign off.
Good.
Yeah.
Mini-pod done.
Yeah. So get Mini-pod done. Check Ken and John out at Ion Radio on YouTube. You can get us on any of the major podcasts, Apple, Google, Amazon, whatever. Check us out on Discord, Command Stack Discord, the Armada Hub Discord as well. So subscribe as well. It's the best thing. Subscribe, that is it's very helpful. It's nice to see people like our stuff and to know that we should keep going. So
and leave reviews on the platforms you can. It really helps push us up.
It definitely does. So
and if you guys have a store championship, let us know.
Definitely put it on my map, please, so I don't have to do it. Anyway, all right. So how do we end this? We go. I'm Ryan.
I'm Garrett.
And I'm Ken.
Thanks for listening.